deal between Egypt, Sudan, and Ethiopia for filling up this dam that is being built on the Blue Nile in Ethiopia. Now, this new dam, which is being built in Ethiopia, has been a cause of tension between upstream countries, Sudan and Egypt, because obviously the Blue Nile is one of the main sources, one of the two main sources actually, for the River Nile, which passes through Sudan and Egypt. In fact, 85% of the water of the River Nile originates in the Blue Nile in Ethiopia. So Ethiopia building this dam on the Blue Nile threatens to decrease the amount of water going upstream to downstream rather to Sudan and to Egypt. Now, for Egypt, this is particularly worrisome because Egypt, the population is swelling. They believe the 100 millionth Egyptian citizen is going to be born this month in February, and 60% of Egypt's population is under the age of 25. About 95% of Egypt's population live along the Nile. They depend upon the Nile. They depend on the waters of the Nile. There is nowhere else in Egypt for them to live because east and west of the Nile is just desert, is uninhabitable, and there are a lack of jobs. Egypt literally is a country that is about to burst. Unless something is done soon to fix Egypt's economic problems, which continue to persist, Egypt could be a catastrophe just waiting to happen. So add to the equation the Ethiopian dam, which will decrease the water flowing into the River Nile. You're talking about huge problems really for Egypt. So this was a project that was threatening to spill out into war between Egypt and Ethiopia, and that threat still lingers. However, they all understand the dangers behind what's going on. They all understand Ethiopia is very aware of Egypt's concerns and Sudan's concerns. So these three countries have been meeting for many years to discuss ways in which this dam can be mutually beneficent for all people of all countries. And they have today announced a deal to start filling up that dam with water. So that's something that's ongoing. It's something that has been sidelined very much over the past couple of years due to bigger stories that are happening, but it's something that we need to keep an eye on because if this issue is neglected, it could cause many problems for many people. Egypt right now is actually constructing a new administrative capital just east of Cairo, in what is traditionally what's really a desert actually. So it's a bit of an artificial one, something like you would find in Dubai or Abu Dhabi, and actually Abu Dhabi is going to be helping in constructing this city. It's going to be a city, from what I understand, only the very rich elite of Egypt will be able to live in there, so not much is going to change for the poorer people of Cairo. But we'll see what happens. Egypt's going to be an interesting one to watch, and in the future, Egypt will either be directly involved in conflicts because they're such as Turkey, and because they are very much suffering from the same problems, from the same situation, or Egypt may have to be kept dormant through international investments going into the country to make sure that all of the people of Egypt have all of their needs met. Because if it continues down this trajectory where there are a lot of poor people, young people with no hope, with no future, Egypt could very easily just implode and see the rise of uncontrollable groups, terrorist groups, that could spread to the region.